Okay, so what's been happening in the real estate market? Because I don't know about you, but I've been seeing conflicting messages everywhere. And it's really interesting being in the trenches, working with the real estate market at a very intimate level, and seeing totally different messages coming out from the media about what's happening. So I'm just going to explain to you what I've been seeing and what talking to other realtors what they've been seeing as well, because it's definitely not what really frankly anyone expected. Because so far with the rates being like right now they're in the lower 6%, they're about 6.3 as of today. So with that, we generally expected demand to be relatively low, and for like how things were at the second half of last year, home prices were going down and sellers didn't have many choices because there weren't a lot of buyers buying homes. But now it's really interesting because even though there's not, like, demand is in fact muted, there's not a lot of people buying homes right now because rates are above 6%. That said, regardless of rates being above 6%, home values aren't going down anymore. And most houses have, if they're priced like decently well, they have multiple offers, and some of them are even selling above asking. Now they're not like selling above asking like how homes were like this time last year when they'd go like $100,000 over asking. It's not like that at all. They're going a little bit over asking, but rarely are they going a ton over asking. That said, I have seen it recently. It is happening again, but it's not nearly as common. It's much less frequent that homes are selling like massively over asking. But homes selling a little bit over asking is not unheard of right now. It's actually happening a decent amount. And the reason why that is because most homeowners have an interest rate below 4%, so in like 2 to 3% as their interest rate. I believe it was around 70% of homeowners, I think it was 72% of homeowners have an interest rate below 4%. That's a lot of people. It's hard to walk away from an interest rate that low. And so what that's doing is that even though demand is muted, is muting the supply of homes even more. Most people don't want to sell their house right now because they don't want to walk away from their great interest rate. I was talking to someone just earlier today who's like, yeah, it's hard because we're a big family crammed in here, but we can't walk away from our interest rate, but we need to upgrade. So that specific person was telling me that just because of the interest rate they have on their mortgage right now and the way rates are right now, even though they're crammed, they're probably gonna wait like a couple more years before they buy a place, even though they really are feeling the pain of not having a larger home. So with that, that's why supply has been so low. And even though demand is also low, supply is even lower. So with that, because supply is even lower, that's why we're seeing multiple offers and homes are selling above asking price. Something else that's been really interesting is that over the last, few months, most economists have been saying that they're expecting interest rates to get below or around like 5.5 by this summer. I was recently now looking at that. Fannie Mae and the National Association of Realtors have actually adjusted their prediction for interest rates. And now they're saying they're gonna probably get in about the mid fives by the end of the year. And by this summer, they'll probably be about around like lower sixes, upper fives. So that's good news. That's great. Inflation's doing a little bit better and they're expecting it to continue to do better. So that's awesome. With every 1% drop in the interest rate, 5 million more buyers enter the home buying market, which means demand goes up. And buyers digest the different interest rate faster than sellers do. So like as rates go down, more sellers will also decide to sell. But initially, even more people are going to decide to buy. So because the buyers they take that market data, they're affected by it first before the sellers, we will see the housing market get even hotter over the coming months before it levels off. So if you're wanting to buy, I would recommend buying soon, because not only will you be able to take advantage of the down payment assistance, you will also have a better experience buying a home, because even though it's competitive now, it'll be even more competitive as this year goes on. So if you're wanting to buy, I would highly recommend doing it sooner rather than later. Just because, it's just gonna get more and more painful as this time goes on. And even though you have a high rate now, you'll be able to refinance once the rates go down. So then you'll have a home that was easier to get, you'll have gotten it at a better price, and you'll have gotten it at a higher interest rate, but you can refinance and get it at a lower interest rate just by the end of the year. So anyways, one thing I forgot to mention earlier, when I was talking about how the different media has been saying different things about what's happening in the real estate market, I'm sure you recently heard a report saying how prices have gone down in the West and they're going up in the East. And while that was true, they are basing that off of this thing called the Case-Shiller. And the Case-Shiller looks at data from the last quarter. That's October, November, December of 2022. And during October, November, December of 2022, that was in fact the case. Prices went down. That was the biggest buyer's market we've had in a long time, and probably was the best time to buy if you're planning on buying during the buyer's market and just refinancing later. Now, since then, so that report just came out now, and they're saying that prices are going down in the West, but that's old data. Since this year has begun, that is no longer the case, and you're no longer able to get like a crazy deal on a home. Maybe with some houses, if they're like overpriced, you can negotiate with them a little bit more and get a better deal on that home than if they had priced right from the beginning. But it's not nearly the same as it was at the last quarter of last year. And we do not expect prices to continue to go down. Talking to several economists, Fannie Mae, different places, they are expecting prices to go up from here. So if you're waiting for home prices to go down, this is no, unless something big happens, no one's expecting them to go down from here. Everyone pretty much universally believes that we have already seen the bottom and that it's just going up. So if you are thinking about buying or selling, if you would like to talk more about it, or if there's some information that you know that I haven't talked about, and you would like to see what my thoughts are on that, or if you would like to say like, hey, like Diana, I actually think you're wrong on this, reach out to me. I would love to hear about it, and I would love to do some research on it and see what information you're looking at and how it all fits together. But hope you guys have a wonderful week, and we will talk to you soon.